The next dimension in the 7 dimensions is naturally Swadhisthana. Swadhisthana means the abode of the self. When Swadhisthana sadhana is done, it gives you a certain freedom. The word, in this country, the freedom movement was referred to as Swatantra. Swatantra means… Swatantra means a technology of the self. Swa is self, Tantra means a technique or a technology, a way to become free. Because the biggest bondage is in the way we are reproduced. And the biggest urge is the way the urge for reproduction binds people in body, mind and emotion. So Swatantra means Swadhisthana and Swatantra connected, that you have found a tantra to release the self from these kind of troubles or these kind of compulsions, because now your self is totally free. One of the important aspects of Swadhisthana is, if your Swadhisthana is established in a certain way, your ability to create. At the lowest level, it's purely reproductive. At the highest level, you can create a god if you wish. The technology of god-making came from this because somebody has absolute control over the Swadhisthana and one can establish what is considered a divine entity. Of all the things that we can do in this system, Swadhisthana is among the most complex and beautiful way of doing things, but it is also personally a dangerous way of doing things, because if you do too much of it, you may have yourself, but you may lose your body. A beautiful self, but no body. This may happen to you if you go too much on it or if you lose control over it. Many who created divine entities generally felt creating one divine entity was good enough and they gave it all and they're left with it. Or they gave it all and became dissipated because of that. Some retain the possibility of doing more. Only if all the other dimensions are on, one can deliver a god. You can deliver a god and still live and still maintain potency only if all the other 6 are equally active. Only then one can do this. Well, somebody delivered us, that is also important. We are not saying that is not important. That is also important, that's why we are sitting here. That is also an important aspect, but the highest level of delivery would be delivering a divine entity. So one dimension of Swadhisthana is also this, that if you allow or if you strive to take Swadhisthana above its natural compulsions, which are essentially regenerative, you must understand this. Whatever is referred to as sexuality is not about sexuality. Nature is instigating you to reproduce. In modern societies, people have made it out as if it has a purpose of its own. Yes, people are using it to bind themselves to each other, but fundamentally the longing in the body is to reproduce. If this was not there, we wouldn't be here today. But if you're wanting to go somewhere else other than being a cycle of life, other than being a natural cycle of life, if you want to go beyond the cycle, then transcending these dimensions become important. When one masters one's Muladhara, which got referred to as Kaya Kalpa, you become like a rock. You want to make the body last for a millennia or more. When Swadhisthana sadhana is done, a burst of energy happens. One can deliver a god, but you may lose your body. If you bring any sound to Manipura without opening your mouth, the very body reverberates the sound. When one is dominant in their anahata, they start hearing things. A reasonably stable person can go crazy. The moment Vishuddhi is active, you become occult competent. Disembodied beings will naturally move towards you. Ajna means there is clarity. The level of freedom it gives you is tremendous. The Sahasrara is total madness. The moment energy stirs Sahasrara, you drip ecstasy.
Besides being a very powerful tool for raising consciousness and meditation, what significance does it, what planetary significance? Obviously there's some galactic powers or some wondrous thing that's going on with this lingam that's beyond just teaching people to meditate.
There are various dimensions to it. If people have the necessary awareness to look into it, it's everything that you want to know about life is in it. It is not in terms of, don't understand is something is encrypted into it. That's not the way it is. Everything that is life is happening from some certain fundamental energy, which you can very easily give it a name and forget about it. You can call it God and leave it. It's very childlike to come to that conclusion. That energy which is the basis of life, how it is going about, creating life everywhere, that energy is in a certain manifesting mode there. So if one has the necessary awareness to look into it, everything that's worth knowing about life is right there. It is not even there, it's right here within you. You are a linga with 7 chakras, It is just that you as a linga have not risen to your highest vibrance, that's all. You are functioning at a low mode. If you push this up to the height, you are a living linga yourself, nothing else. If your energy is raised to a certain pitch, your energies will naturally take the form of an ellipsoid. So, it is not even necessary that you have to go there, it is right here. But because this is right now not in a functioning mode, you go somewhere else where it's in a functioning mode. Another dimension why it is created is, very few people get the fortune of doing sadhana in their guru's presence. Not everybody will get that. So the linga gives you this opportunity. It's like a living person, except for the physical body, everything is there. It's like the highest possible being sitting there. In his presence you can do the sadhana. And he is not limited to any time and space. Wherever you are, you can manifest it. You don't have to visit the linga. There are so many people who are experiencing this wherever they are and then they come. It is not necessary it has to be in that space. Because you're so limited to your sense perceptions and your thinking and all this, physical presence becomes important. Otherwise, no. If you're open to it, wherever you are, it is.